Take a nice, deep, letting go breath. Hi, I wanted to share with you today why I'm on a mission to make hypnosis mainstream. If you've been following me for a while, you may have heard bits and pieces, and if you're brand new, you're probably thinking, why? That is kind of a random thing to be so passionate about. What good would it do to make hypnosis mainstream? So I wanted to share with you a little bit about my progression in using the tool, and then what has happened since I became a hypnotherapist, and why this is so important to me and now our growing community. So basically, bringing it way back, when I was 24 years old, I hit rock bottom. I had a great career. On paper, everything looked amazing. I had a phenomenal resume, but my private life was a total disaster. It was just chaos everywhere. All of my relationships were just so unnecessarily dramatic. My health was really declining, and it was because I was partying way too much. Essentially what happened is when I graduated from college, it was 2008, so not exactly, the peak of time to enter the world. Everyone was losing their jobs. And my first job was in fundraising, and I was on a team, and we were required to raise $250 million for our clients. So at a time where everyone's losing their jobs, we were asking people for money. And if we didn't meet our deadlines, our jobs were on the chopping block. So I started to experience something I'd never experienced before, and that was chronic anxiety. Waking up every single morning with knots in my stomach, terrified to look at my emails because I knew it was going to be an inbox full of no's when I needed to go tell my boss that we had really moved the needle. And I didn't have any coping skills for this anxiety. The anxiety then turned into things like bursts of anger where I would lash out at all the people that I loved, and then it eventually turned into depression as well, which is something I had never experienced. And to self-medicate for all of those issues, I ended up partying a lot more. So I don't know if any of you can relate to this, but I just started going out way too much, and I kind of used alcohol as my coping mechanism. So by the time I was 24, fast forward after a few years of doing this, it was just too much, and I couldn't take it anymore. So I ended up getting clean, getting sober. It was very difficult at the time, but now I know it's the best thing that has ever happened to me. And about 6 months later, I was still smoking cigarettes like a chimney. And I said, I'm ready to quit smoking. I haven't been drinking for 6 months. My life is finally starting to get better. Why can't I quit these things? I tried the patch, I tried the gum. I think they're gross. I know they're bad for me. I know they're expensive. So what's the deal here? And someone suggested I check out hypnotherapy. And I was a complete skeptic. I want you to know I did not believe this stuff would work. On my way to see the hypnotherapist for the first time, I was actually really angry already. I was just feeling like, is this person going to scam me? Is this thing going to work? And clearly he was used to this because he was just very kind and said, go ahead, have a seat, close your eyes. And within one session, I never craved a cigarette again. Now I want to be very clear, that is atypical. Most people need much more than one session to see results, but I'll get to that later. So once I quit smoking with hypnosis, I said to myself, why is emphysema still an issue? Why is lung cancer still an issue? Why are people developing these problems? Why are people continuing to smoke if they don't have to, if they don't want to? Why are gum and patches the first thing I went to and they didn't work, and hypnosis was the last thing I went to? Like, I smoked for a long time and wanted to quit when it was the only thing that worked. Then I used it to overcome debilitating stage fright. You might not be able to tell, but I used to be terrified speaking to people on stage, and now I'm a paid public speaker. A couple other things happened, but this was the kicker. I had gone and gotten a hypnotherapy certification just on the side. I was so passionate about sharing what I had learned with others, but I kept my day job. And then someone I'd been dating for about a month, his father was a UN peacekeeping ambassador in Syria. He was one of the Blue Berets, and his UN convoy was bombed, and he had a stroke from the stress. He lost the use of the left side of his body, completely paralyzed, and this man asked me to go see his father at the Rusk Institute in New York City, which is a great hospital. So surrounded by doctors and white coats and legitimate people, I walked in to do some hypnosis just to help elevate his mood. And halfway through the session, I said, I want you to imagine two neurons firing on the left-hand side of your brain and a golden light traveling down the left-hand side of your body all the way through your arm and out your finger. And I hadn't even finished the word when he started moving his finger. And he opened his eyes and he said, what do I do? And I just said, keep moving your finger. And by the end of that day, he was able to have this range of motion. He'd been paralyzed for 3 months. So I'm crying, he's crying, the nurse is crying, the doctor is crying. And I walked home that day and I said, F this, quit my job. And I've been on a mission to make hypnosis mainstream ever since. And the best part of that story is he's now my father-in-law. That was Bernardo's dad. So it's the first time I ever met him. He told that story at our wedding and he's doing phenomenal now. He's walking, has great range of motion, has a new baby son, all very exciting things. So the next thing that happened after I quit my job is I ran a living social campaign to launch my business. And in 24 hours, I sold over 300 vouchers. However, most of those vouchers were for 3 sessions. So I actually sold 942 sessions in 24 hours. My first year in business, I worked with 1,000 private clients. And because hypnotherapy is still up and coming, there could be hypnotherapists who've been in business 30 years who've never worked with 1,000 people. That was only my first year. So I am extremely knowledgeable about the power of hypnosis. And I think it's more important for you to know how the subconscious mind works than advertising companies. And I think it's important for you to not overeat or bite your nails or be afraid of flying or have stage fright, whatever it is. If you don't want to, you don't have to. You can change your habits and your beliefs, but you have to do it from the level of the subconscious mind. That's where they're stored, and that's what hypnosis is used for. So that's why I'm on a mission. I hope this makes sense to you. In future videos, I'll tell you more about how hypnosis works, but I wanted to have one place where the story was as to why I've made this my life's mission. Now, I mentioned before that I wanted to talk about how many sessions it typically takes for hypnosis to work. And it was atypical for me to have one session and see such lasting results. And here's why. They found that after 600 sessions of psychoanalysis, clients experienced 38% improvement. So keep that in mind, 600 sessions with 38% improvement. And with hypnotherapy, it was 6 sessions and clients experienced 93% recovery.